everyone, I'm Heather. This is Anwen. It is now day 3 of Shorty September, and today's project is, wait for it, At Night All But Is Black by David Diop. So I've seen this one on BookTube loads, but most importantly, it was on Barack Obama's reading list, which I take as a biblical document, to be honest. So it's about a guy, he's Senegalese, and he's fighting in World War I, right? His friend dies or like gets injured and is really ill and wants this guy to kill him, but he can't find the courage to kill him. He can't bring himself to kill his friend. And then like he dies a horrific death, the friend, you know, and then this guy, this like main character narrator guy, is just like haunted by the guilt of not having killed his friend and spared him that death. So he just like goes off the rails, climbs over the lines at night, like kills Germans every night and takes their hands, and then just like collects their hands. Yeah,
that's scary.
It goes a bit loopy and like takes all their hands, and then like people back on his side start to fear him. They're like, is it black magic? This book is super fucked up, but I think I love it. Don't know just yet. It's like early days. I'm only on chapter 4, something like that. But this guy, he's like, so his friend died with like his guts like all coming out onto the battlefield, like in the rain or whatever. He describes that sort of first of all, and he sort of talks about how the French sort of tell them like, oh, you know, they're afraid of you, they think you're savages, you know, you have to play the savage, play the Zulu warrior, you know, like you know, it tells them to like run out on the battlefield with like eyes wide and screaming, you know, to like play up this sort of view of them thinking you're a savage. And he's like, the difference between me and them is that they're playing the savage, you know, like I really am the savage and I'm playing the human or whatever. It is creepy. And like he's saying about how he was dictated to all his life, like how he was supposed to act and is supposed to respond to whatever, and this is why he didn't do the human thing when his friend needed him to do the human thing, to kill him, to like slit his throat so that he wouldn't like be hanging out with his guts out for so long. And now he's like talking a lot about like, yeah, like what he's doing, the things he does, where he goes to the German line and he like picks off German soldiers like one by one and like puts their guts out onto the field or whatever. That's like the human thing. He like pulls all their guts out and then slits their throats, you know, to like take the place of the friend that he fucked up with. Oh my god, it is so grim and like creepy, and I don't know, it's early days, like give me a bit of time, but the writing is so good and like powerful, and it's not a story like I tend to hear a lot about, you know, like the Senegalese soldiers who fought for France in World War I. I think that's like a huge blind spot in like my literary repertoire, you know. I don't read a lot about that, and now I've like gone down a Wikipedia rabbit hole as well for a bit. Oh, my trench mates, my war brothers began to fear me after the 4th hand. At first they laughed with me heartily. They enjoyed watching me come home with a rifle in an enemy hand. Any thoughts? Hink? No?
Oh, this one's too melted.
Okay, some of you have been asking about my ring and what is up with that since I lost it and then had to shamefacedly go to the pub and ask for them to help me get it back. And they said that they would phone me yesterday and they did not do that, but I'm not worried, I will just have to go to them again. I'm out with mates on Saturday, tomorrow, in town, and I will just pop my face in there again and ask again. Like, I thought the worst part about this was actually losing the ring, but it turns out that the actual worst part is all of the times I've had to go in and shamefacedly tell a different member of staff what drunk Heather has done. Like, sober Heather doesn't like to account for things that drunk Heather does. They're two different people. they have different thought processes. But we'll eventually get it back.
T-U-T-A-V-U-V mae pob un yn gwahanol. Plant a chwarae a dyn ni yn plant yn ysgol.
Guys, I am loving this. There's like a super interesting like feature of like the writing in this book, and it's just like, it's like kind of repetition, and it's really obvious sort of from the go, and it's like adding like a weird sort of like powerfulness to like the writing. And also I think it's sort of, I don't know, helping us to sort of like, he's like going into this spiral of madness, and you can sort of see his obsessions and like his spiraling. But it sort of reminded me of like, there's this kind of Welsh poetry called like Cynghanedd or something, where like every line and every part of the poem has to like be answered. So like it repeats, like one part, like the front part has to match with like a back part or something like this. Like, I don't properly understand it, but like that's what it's reminding me of. Like it's like certain words and certain sentence patterns that are repeated constantly through the thing, and you get like a weird feeling of like a crazy poem, like a poem of a madman, like a sort of like, I don't know, like a sort of slam poetry, you know, like a sort of powerful like prose poem. Like, I'm not describing this well, but it's good.
Not like a massive, like just like before this cage. So I was gonna say that boy said
Holy shit, I've just finished it. Okay, I have a lot of thoughts. I think my main thought, like I plowed through that. Like, this was longer than the other ones I've been reading. Like, I didn't think I was gonna get it done today, and I did have to work and I did have to do stuff, but I plowed through this because the writing is so good and like powerful, and like no spoilers, but like nearing the end bit, like sort of the second half, he starts to say about his family and his like growing up and everything, like describing like what happens to his mother and like his family and everything. And it was so good. But I have a lot of thoughts. Like, I think I'm gonna have to reread the end, because I think maybe the end, there was a lot to unpack in the end. And I think I was reading it because I like wanted to hear the story, and I wanted to just sort of experience the plot bit. But there was obviously a lot hidden in there. There's a lot to unpack. So I'm gonna have to go back. And also, I think I am confused slightly by the ending. Like, I think I understand what's happened, but I'm not 100%. I might go on Reddit. That's what, like, every time I'm not quite sure what has happened and I don't have someone to discuss it with, because I don't want to like say no, because loads of you probably haven't read it, you know. And I don't know anyone that has read it. Anyone that's read this and wants to like have chats with me about the ending, please let me know, because like I need someone to like walk me through this, you know. Anyway, I loved this, and it's one of these ones that I loved based not on the plot or anything, because it was really like grim and violent, you know, things I wouldn't normally go for, but I loved it purely on the writing and the characters. So I accidentally finished that in a day, which is good, but now I'm like 3 days, 3 books in, like I'm on a roll, whatever. So next one for tomorrow, I'm gonna go with The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. So I quite liked Gone Girl. I read that for my office book club, and I liked the movie as well. So I think this one's gonna be pretty good. I think it's about a con artist or something. Yeah, like a fake psychic who is hired by someone who thinks her house is haunted. So she goes to investigate that or something. Anyway, I have picked it for tomorrow because I'm going out on the town quite early in the day. So if I'm gonna try to go, you know, like a book a day, like I'm gonna try to keep it going until I just can't do it anymore. Like, I won't be really sad when I hit a hitch and can't sort of keep the the pattern of like a book a day going. But like I'll do what I can to sort of like keep it going while I can, you know. So this is the shortest one, I think, on my TBR for Shorty September. So tomorrow I think I'm gonna have the least amount of time to actually read. So I'll see if I can finish it tomorrow. If not, you know, it's not the end of the world. Anyway, thank you for watching again. If you have any questions or comments or like literally any thoughts at all, please let me know in the comments. I have been loving hearing what you all are reading for Shorty September or just for September in general. Every time someone mentions that they've read something and liked it in my comments, like it's like a tick. I'm obsessed. I have to immediately go and look and see if I would like that book, and then if I would, I write it down for later. So if you are also on a deep Shorty September journey, please let me know how you're doing with that. And I will maybe see you tomorrow, maybe the next day, maybe Monday, whatever. Okay, see you. Thank you. Bye, bye, bye.